everyone, it's Angie with Flip Flop Your Life, and today I have a special guest with me, and actually, to be honest, this is our second time doing this, take two, because the first one did not come out right, so hopefully that was a good thing, because a lot of things have happened since the first one.
We'll have some new and maybe better answers and stuff,
So it's all good. So this is Alyssa Lauer from Alyssa's Healthy Donuts. And if you're from around here, I would imagine if you've been to the Coffee Shack or if you've been to Subzilla, LMH, Licking Memorial Hospital, you've probably had her donuts. And the thing is I see big things happening with you. I really, really do.
I hope so. It's going, cool,
It's going quick. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So she just amazed me the first time that I saw her. So I knew that I wanted to interview Alyssa because she's done a flip in her life really early in life. Kind of the same like me. I did it really early in life too. So I really think that she can connect with a lot of people out there that are either have done the same thing or are wanting to do that. Whether or not they're older or not, but just going to show and showing people that people your age can do this, can kind of step out of the box and not do what everybody else does, but do something that's their dream. So why don't you first tell us a little bit about yourself and where you came from, all of that, and what you did before Alyssa's Donuts.
Okay, yes. So my name is Alyssa, obviously. I'm from Baltic, actually, so a really, really small town. And I am 20. Actually, today's my birthday, by the way.
I did not know that. Happy birthday.
So I'm 25 now. I started the donut business when I was 23, I believe. Yes. And so prior to the donut business, I actually had a personal training business. And that's kind of that's where the donut business came from, is the personal training business kind of.
How long were you doing that?
About 2 to 3 years is what I did that for. Yes.
Awesome.
And then before that, I did a couple of different random kind of jobs. I worked at a supplement store. I was like a manager there. Worked at a Montessori school. Before that, like typical, I feel like high school jobs, like pizza shop, like hostess at Texas Roadhouse, that kind of stuff. So
people stuff though.
Yes,
you're definitely a people person.
I
can't see you. I can't see you in office. Did you go to college?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
So I went to COTC. I got my Associate of Arts actually. I started off going for radiology. Went to that program. I loved my teachers. I like school actually. I'm something I really like school. But I just realized I wasn't passionate about it. I was doing well in school and I actually got into the program. And I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Just didn't like it. And so luckily, I don't think if my parents would have been cool with me like dropping out, I would have done it, honestly. Or it would have been much harder and would have been a longer road of like trying to push through that. Because I kept kind of questioning it and I kept saying like, well, maybe if I'm at a different hospital for clinicals or this and that. And because I don't like the idea of like giving up on it. That felt really bad to be like, I'm just going to drop out.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. And I wanted to make sure like it wasn't just me being bored or like not wanting to work hard. Because I was like, am I just not liking that it's hard work? Like, I hope not. Like, I don't want that to be a trait of mine. So I kept pushing through it and then eventually like called my parents and we both, it was weird because we both had this mutual understanding without saying it. Because they'd already been looking at like other options because I wanted to stay in school.
They already kind of knew.
Yes, and like they kind of already gave me the okay.
Know that.
I know, yeah.
We have that sense.
Because I was planning on, I think, pushing through a little bit longer, and they kind of were like, "Hey, we looked into some different how to transfer because it was early enough where I could transfer to like doing something different in school." So they definitely helped me feel okay with that, and so yeah, got my Associate of Arts and.
So then you started training then after that? Did you go to training first? Because at that point you didn't have any idea you wanted to do donuts, did you?
Not at all. Not at all. No, that was never the plan. So out of college, then I worked at a supplement store basically. And then, I worked at a Montessori school first. And I thought maybe I wanted to be a teacher. So that was one of my thoughts, like a kindergarten teacher is what I was thinking, or a preschool teacher.
I could see that too.
Yeah. And during that time, I was super into fitness. And so and I still am, but I was like very into it. And somebody had kind of offered me a job working with the supplement store. It's a local one called Supzilla. And so I started working with them, and then they asked me to be a manager there. So then I was a manager there for a while. And then from there, got more and more into like the fitness industry, met more people, and kind of got momentum of like, maybe I could do something with this. Like, and then I decided one day, I don't really know what like made me feel confident enough to like post it, but I posted a video and it was just like, hey, I'm going to start doing fitness classes. Like I offered them for free. I think for the first month I offered them for free. Had people come and
try it.
Yes, and try it. And from there, built a personal training business. So that was like my own thing. I started working with like a gym at first, where they kind of like helped me get clients. Then I started renting out a gym, and so it's just like my space, and I had to completely advertise, like get my own clients, keep them, like all of that. So it was a great
That's a great experience.
It was a great experience, yeah. And it was like, it's so funny because the gym was in the sketchiest like location, and it was
Here
not.
in Newark?
No, it was back home, so in Sugar Creek area. So if any of like my girls who came are listening to this, so I'd have to, when somebody would want to come, I'd have to explain them over text how to get there. And it was behind a livestock building, like a livestock auction barn. So there was so it was a ton of like livestock. Okay, so I had to say, okay, turn left at the drive by the livestock auction building, go all the way back, and there's a couple of different buildings, and the one on the left with like the keypad. And so it was like past all the animals, and like there was a ton of like potholes on the way and stuff. So it was a great experience to like, because I mean, essentially you had to, even though it was like not an ideal location, it sounds sketchy as soon as I'm texting you. You're like, what is this place?
Yeah.
Like, and so in order to keep clients, like having to provide a really good service despite all the other things that like aren't appealing about it. So that was like a good challenge, because like, okay, if I can make this work, this location, like then I can make anything work. Yes, yeah. So that's what I did. Then that's what I did before the donuts, was personal training for a while, had classes there, and that's when the donuts came into play, was like starting in there.
What'd you do? Do it for birthdays and things like that?
Yes. So I started off making it for myself, because I was very health conscious. I still am, and I wanted something sweet that still was like good for me. And so I started experimenting with different recipes. I did like protein pancakes, protein cheesecake, and then tried with the donuts. And so I was making them for myself, and then I started bringing them for clients, like for their birthdays, engagements, and I'd surprise them with donuts with a candle in it. And yeah, so that's how it started. And then I created, it was Protein Donut Fridays. So if you came to my class on Fridays, you would get a free donut afterwards. So I just had, free donuts afterwards. And it was kind of like, it was trying to help my personal training business grow, and then also provide more of like a community, like for them to stay afterwards and actually hang out.
Yeah.
And so it was never the thought of like, oh, this could be a business, let me like try it. It was just like, this is something to add to my personal training business to make it better.
So was Friday like your best day?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was so fun. Like, it was so fun.
I believe that.
Yeah. Yes. So that's how they came about. It was that, and then people kind of started knowing me as like having the donuts, and then like clients would kind of ask to like buy extras, like after class, like, hey, can I buy an extra from you? And that's when I kind of was like, it honestly was it was one of those like awkward moments where I was like, this is like a free thing, so it felt really weird taking money from it.
Right.
Really, like I was like, and so some of those things just kind of like, those ideas started coming of like, maybe this could be something. Who knows?
Did you test it on them first? Were they like your test market of figuring out?
Yes. Like I definitely knew they loved them and they got excited about them. But whenever I first ever tested it was National Donut Day, and I was just driving in my car. And this is why I think it's important to like have kind of some quiet time for yourself, because I purposefully didn't have my radio on and just wanted to like think. And I was like, the idea came to me of like, I should just like post about it on Instagram. It's National Donut Day, like, and see and like say, hey, I'm taking orders, and see what happens. And I think we got 25 dozen. We had to make 25 dozen for people. So 25 people. And so it was so cool because I remember being in the gym and like getting, or I was like, I have like 15 and then 20. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it was really cool.
Did you freak out?
I did, yeah.
I would have freaked out.
I was,
now I have to make these.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And so that was like the first, just putting it out there. But I still thought it was like a one-time thing, or people just wanted it because it was like, I just offered it for the one time. And so they're like, oh, it's funny. Let me get some of these donuts. And so from there, I wrote everybody like a thank you note, which I think was like a really good thing, like a personal touch and stuff. And
people like that, even though you're ordering online and stuff. People like to have
the personal touch,
human personal touch.
Yes. And so I wrote everybody like a thank you note, and it was like a pretty long like thank you note. Like I tried to like pick out personal because I knew almost everybody personally, so I put something else in it. And so they started like they would post their donuts and like the thank you note, and then from there organically people would message me and say, hey, I saw you made donuts for this person, can you make them for me? And so it kept kind of rolling for a couple weeks like that. And so then we thought, all right, well, let's just like roll with this and like start actually saying, hey, we're taking orders once a month, and then see what happens. And then went to twice a month, and then every weekend, and then it continued long enough, like consistently, where then we went full time.
Was it just you, or did your mom help you?
My mom, 1,000%. Thank goodness. So yeah, she definitely, even when we first got the first 25 orders, so at that time we were completely renovating I lived at home with my parents, and we were completely renovating the kitchen. So literally everything was torn out. Like we tore everything out, and we put the oven and everything into like the smallest room in our house. And so when we got those orders, we were like in there making the donuts. We had one donut pan, so we could only make 1 dozen at a time. And everything was just like, I mean, when you make any kind of baked goods for like a friend or something like that, it's like a teaspoon, a tablespoon, and like a cup, instead of like now we have like this many grams. So it's like easier to make it. So it's just a slow process. But she would stay up with me and help me make them. And so that definitely, because I was still doing the personal training business. So I still had the full-time thing going there. And then
that. So when did you stop that?
So we stopped that. We first ever, like, we first took orders in, I believe June is National Donut Day. It's in June. And then we went full-time in January, basically at the end of the year. So January, like, of this year. So yeah, and like and that was when we just took like the first orders just to be fun. So like the first little bit wasn't like, we weren't really doing much with it. It was kind of like, like we'll take them once a month. Yeah. So yeah, it happened really quickly.
And now you're in, I mean, you're traveling, how many different stops you have during the week?
Yes, so we have 12 different like partnering businesses that carry them like full time, like you can go there and buy a single donut. So coffee shops, we have a hospital, supplement stores, and then we have 6 different pickup locations where you can actually like order them online and pick them up, like a half dozen or dozen. So we have some in Columbus, Sugar Creek area, so that's where my hometown is, and then like Heath area. Yeah, so it's all spread out.
That's awesome. So tell me how do you come up with your flavors? I mean, tell everybody what your flavors are.
Yes. Okay.
And actually, how many ingredients do you have? Because I know everyone's probably going to say healthy donuts.
Yes.
Like what makes them healthy? That all the time.
Yes.
So what does make them what makes them donuts? What makes them healthy?
So, what makes them healthy is, so I'll just go through the ingredient list. So they're made out of almond flour, oat flour, protein powder, stevia. There's some baking powder in there. Egg whites, honey, pumpkin, and unsweetened almond milk is what they're made out of. And as far as flavors go, they're baked, not fried. They're gluten-free. And also just like the calorie range is really good. The macronutrients are really good. So a lot of times when stuff is gluten-free, it's not necessarily like low calorie, or like, for example, like, I mean, there's so many things that are gluten-free but still aren't good for you. So like,
and a lot of people don't know that.
Yes. Yeah. So the ingredients are like, yes, they're gluten-free, but they're also like good ingredients for you that have other benefits as well. So we kind of wanted to hit it from that perspective as well as like, they're good ingredients and they're gluten-free, and it's also like in a good calorie range. It's not like way over the top. Or
Which
like
you
a
would
ton of
know
sugar,
because
because sugar is still gluten free. Like people don't, I don't think know that is like it can still not be good for you. So, and then the flavors, we have 9 flavors. So we have pumpkin spice, maple sea salt. I love that. Yeah, maple sea salt's a big favorite. Vanilla, chocolate chip, peanut butter, strawberry, blueberry, and lemon. Yeah.
Those are good.
I didn't know if I could
all
remember
of them
them all.
are good. Every single one of them are good. But what's the most popular? Would you say?
I would say definitely it goes through cycles because it seems like everybody has like different seasons bring about like different tastes that they want. But I would say maple sea salt is like if I want somebody to try one for the first time, I usually always go to that one unless they have like a specific like I love strawberry stuff.
Yeah.
Like maple sea salt seems to be like it'll get anybody with any taste buds. Like they like it.
Yeah, almost everybody. I don't know many people who don't like maple syrup or
and like that flavor.
Yeah. So
it's a good staple.
now you've had because we've talked about this before. You have a lot of like memorable things that you're doing at the same time with Alyssa's Donuts. Can you tell everybody a little bit about some of the cool things that you're doing?
Yeah.
That, kind of like volunteer type thingies.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, so this is like probably the most exciting part is number one, you get to meet really cool people because you get into events that or even you. Like,
I know. You get into things. You get to meet people and eat things.
Yeah, or even do podcast interviews. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm going to have a microphone on, so.
That's hilarious. You're a star.
I know. You feel so cool when you put a microphone on. But
actually, I could see you on what's the Shark Tank.
Shark Tank?
I could totally see you on Shark Tank.
That'd be so cool. But so it gets you in events that are just really cool, and then you usually get to meet other entrepreneurs who are like just have cool ideas and they're supportive. I don't know. I love it. So, but also, I think what's cool when you have a platform is that you can start once you get momentum and get followers and get like just established, you can start doing things like giving back and just creating things that are really cool. And so I met this guy named Kyle Berger, and it's a funny story because I basically needed a bike helmet. And he had a bike helmet, okay? So this is how we met.
I don't think you told us this in the last
I signed up for this like charity bike race, and it was super last minute, so I needed a bike and a bike helmet. So I posted it, and this guy he was like, hey, I have a free bike helmet. Never met him before. And he has an organization that's called Make a Day. And so it's just really cool because I met him for the bike helmet, and then he told me about this. He's like, I think, it could be a good fit if you're interested. But Make a Day is, so it's a nonprofit organization that they do pop-up events in Columbus. They do other stuff too, just to raise money for the homeless community. But they have pop-up events in Columbus, usually once a month. And what they do is they have like a hair salon come. They have like a food truck come. They have people bring clothing. And then I'll bring like the donuts. So like the hair salon place the homeless people can come and they'll give them like, they'll wash their hair. They'll give them a free haircut. They get a warm meal from like the food truck. They can grab a donut. There's another like desserts place usually. And then they also have like clothing, or in the wintertime they'll have coats and all that. And it's just really cool. Like it's cool too because they come and you can tell like they just get to hang out, kind of relax and feel really normal, and like you create this atmosphere of like
them getting pampered too.
Yes.
I mean, they actually get to feel that again, maybe because maybe some of those homeless, it happened, unexpectedly.
Yes.
So it's cool. I would love to go with you.
Yeah.
And help you sometime.
No, seriously. Yeah. They're always looking for volunteers. So
I think it's great. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And just from a bike helmet,
I know. Like, it's perfectly fell in place. It's like, this is amazing. Yeah.
That is so, so cool. And do you have any other cool stories? Any other cool things?
Yeah. Like with the charity stuff?
Yeah, charity or whatever. Anything else that you're a part of?
Yeah. Actually, I just went to the Lookup Center is local. Do you know them?
I don't think so.
Okay. I need to she gave me a pamphlet to show me because they do so much stuff for the community. Like I was like, I don't even know how to sum you up.
For Newark?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's O'Bannon Avenue or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. But so it's a lookup center. So basically, like I brought them some donuts, and like I went and spoke to their kindergarten through 5th grade basically about, because they're gonna start business. They're gonna, I guess, let me say what they are first so it makes sense. But it's an organization that like kids after school can come to that maybe don't have like the best home life or something. So they get to come, and they it's a Christian organization too. So they'll kind of talk to them about God a little bit, and then they also will help them with their homework. They'll provide them with a meal, because sometimes some of the kids might not be a ton of food at home. So like, so they'll, and it's interesting too, because she said with even the meals, like they don't want pizza, they want like mashed potatoes and whatever. Like they want like a meal because they don't normally get that. They get pizza all the time. It's
like
cheap
a home
food.
Cooked meal.
Yes, yeah. And so anyway, so they have like an after school program for these kids. They do so much stuff. They have a vision clinic and like a dental clinic that's like free for people to come in, like so they can get like a dental exam and stuff like that. They can get a vision exam, and people who can't normally afford that, they have a little shop where like people can come and they make, it's like nice furniture. Like one of them was like, I would buy this, and it's like really
they make it.
No, they don't. They get it and they price it like cheap, but they would give it away. But actually it's really interesting, because a lot of the people, they want to actually be able to buy it. They want to feel the dignity of like buying their own furniture. So they'll provide like it at a really good price and like good furniture, instead of just giving it away, because that doesn't feel good for those people. Yeah. So it's really cool. They do so much stuff. So anyways, we've done stuff with them with the donuts. I can't think of anything right now of other things. We try to do, this week, oh my gosh, this week we're doing a random act of kindness week. So it's for my birthday. I was like, I think it'd be cool if we all did like random act of kindness, and then they get entered to win. Like, if you do one and you post about it, basically to spread the like everybody do little kindness things. You'll be entered to win. I'm giving away 25 free like half dozens to people. So stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Just like cool, just fun stuff like that. So
you have all kinds of great ideas like that. Now, speaking of cool things, now I know that you had been searching for a kitchen since you're growing so rapidly. Tell us about that.
Yes, so that's super exciting. Oh my goodness. So we had been looking for a kitchen because right now we've been making them out of my apartment, so they're home produced, and we could only make 2 dozen at a time. So that was when we had really big weeks. It was like that's all we were doing is baking, like every day, just baking, zero life, just baking. And so we've been looking for a kitchen, experimenting. We had one, but we were experimenting with it, because you'd be surprised like the oven temperature and time changes so much when you're talking about like a big oven. Yeah. So we kept trying how to throw away a bunch of donuts and stuff to figure out like the perfect time and temperature to make them come out right. And so we finally figured it out, where we can do now 15 dozen at a time, which is amazing. We want to figure out the max we could do in that oven is 30 dozen. So we would love to do more than that, but so helpful, just 15 dozen, being able to do it there. So yes, so exciting, because that frees up more time to to just do more things to grow the business, make it better, get in more businesses, and not dream about donuts the whole time. Because you were doing it all day and night. Yes, it's good. Yeah, not to be baking every day. It's good to dream about donuts for you, but there's a cutoff though. At 25, that may not be the only thing that you want to dream about. Yeah. Okay. I always ask everybody that I interview this, if if flip-flops were magic slippers, where in the world would you like to go, and why would you like to go? Yes, so I would say somewhere like, I first think like Yosemite, something like that. I would love the idea of like, not a typical like, almost like beach vacation, or like I don't want to say crowded, but like a place where like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things to do, a lot of stimulus. I love the idea of like going somewhere where it's like I'm just like hiking, or it's like. Do you hike? Well, not really, no. If there were, well, I mean, I love that being out in nature, because I feel like it is, if anything, and this is different for each person, people might not need it as much, but I feel like it's something that most of us need, because there's so much, we're always on our phones, we're always on social media, we always have stimulus, like there's always something usually to entertain you or like to distract you. So if anything, the hard thing is to be quiet and have like quiet time in your own like head and just like checking in with yourself, reflecting, just leaving space for like ideas to come and yeah, just leaving space. Like, because if you're always obviously like looking at your phone or always distracted in some way, always doing something, it's really hard to, I think, get in touch with some parts of you that are really important. So I would love to go somewhere like that, just because it would totally bring you, I don't know, it just brings you to a certain space that's totally really important. Yeah.
We went to Sleeping Bear Dunes this past summertime.
Okay.
Our vacation was in Michigan. Have you ever been up there?
I haven't, no.
It's beautiful. Any of the dunes. So we went to Silver Lake and then we went up to Sleeping Bear. Silver Lake you can drive on. Mm-hmm. Sleeping Bear you walk on it. And we went to this one overlook area that it's got like a 400-foot drop of a sand dune that goes down to Lake Michigan, I think it was.
Okay,
and you sit there, and it was a beautiful day when we went. It was later in the day, so the sun was coming down, and just no boats out on the water. It just was, and you sat there on the top of the sand dune, and it was crowded, but everybody kind of was the same way. Number one, you didn't try to go. There were some people that tried to go down the dunes, but it was like a $3,000 fine. $3,000 fine if they had to come and rescue you.
Wow.
I mean, because it would take so long to get back up.
Yeah.
Because it was like a straight up shot up the dune. But there was enough space that you could get down part of it, and you just sat there and you looked out, and it was just that feeling. I mean, it was huge, and then you saw this huge body of water, and up there it looked like the ocean. But it was just this calming feeling that you had that came over you where, I mean, and yes, I had my phone to take a picture and stuff, but you just sat there and you could just, I mean, I thought I could sit there for hours because of that feeling that you got. And, and I think, I mean, I've never been out west. Chase has, and Hannah has, but I think that's how they felt too when they were out in the mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where.
I think it reminds you, I think the biggest thing is it reminds you that, it reminds you how big, like, the world is. And, like, it does two things, I feel like. I think it makes you put perspective to, like, some of your problems aren't as big as what they are. But then also makes you feel like you're also part of something really big. So it's, like, it makes you feel important, but also, like, puts you in perspective of, like, your problems are not that big. Like, they're pretty small. Or a lot of those things that we worry about that aren't that important, like, we all get caught up in them. So I think it pulls you out of that, and you're like, all right.
Well, speaking of
pretty amazing. Yeah.
I forgot to ask you this question.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
Yeah. I think this is the hardest question.
Where do you want to be in the next couple of years?
Yeah. So I would love to, there's a lot of different things. So I would love for the business to be a little more, obviously, like, more efficient and more, like, I would like not to be the one baking in the business, but more like helping the business like run along more, not working in the business, but like on the business and spreading it and being more like the creative, I guess. Like, I think I do much better at those things of just like thinking of new ideas and trying to move it forward. I love networking and love that stuff. And also I feel like that then will in turn honestly make the business better, because I think that's where my strengths are. So putting myself where I would be good at, basically. And so I would love for that to happen, number one. I would love to pay my mom a bunch of money and have her have a good salary.
You're such a good daughter.
That'd be super cool. I love the idea of like hiring other employees and creating a really cool atmosphere. Like
a fun atmosphere.
How cool is that? Yeah. And like to provide like an income for people, like a good, I would love to do much more like the make-a-day stuff. Like, I feel like once you do get a bigger and bigger platform, like I can then create something like that, or I can, create whatever, create your own thing like that. And so I just think that would be so fun. That's where I want to see it go, is that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's awesome. I completely believe you will get there. Completely believe it.
Oh, thank you.
So I just want to thank you for coming on, and I want you guys to know that I will make sure that I will link her web address on the bottom of here, and you can get in touch with her on Facebook and Instagram, all the regular social media channels. And if you have any questions, I mean, I see her all the time. I eat her donuts all the time. So either we can answer questions or I'll get you in touch with Alyssa. And so thanks so much for being on. It was so much fun.
Thank you. Yes.
Hey, see ya.
See ya.